Guys, welcome to today's episode. This is going to be really fun. We got Jason Dickinson, aka Eagle, with us today. Eagle, thanks for being here, brother.
Absolutely, man. I'm excited to be here. I was thinking this morning we have Goose and Eagle. We got two birds
Boom.
morning.
That's
So
right. This podcast is going to soar.
I was gonna bring a goose call this morning, but I just decided not to.
That would have been pretty cool. I was thinking about this morning. I think we were in Texas last October, right?
Yes. Yeah.
This was 1 year ago, exactly that Jason and I met. You tell the story.
Yeah. So I do a 5-year journal and just write a couple of sentences for each day. And on October 19th, so just 2 days ago, as of this recording, I was reading my journal, and this is what I wrote that day, and then I'll tell the story. It says, God answered a prayer today. He gave me a strategy for our men. I met Goose with Men's Alliance. I'm ready to start a tribe. And that was my couple of sentences. That was a year ago. So the backstory is about 6 months prior to that. I pastor a church in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And Sunday, we have 2 services. Church ended, mingled for a little while. Our offices are upstairs, so I went upstairs to put my Bible, microphone, stuff away. And when I came back, we have a balcony, and so I could see down across our sanctuary. And there were 3, church had been done for a while, and there were 3 groups of people, three groups of women who were all ministering to a woman, 3 different women. And I knew their situations because I'm their pastor, and I know their families. And Goose, at the center of all 3 of those situations was a man who was not really following Jesus. I mean, they were playing the game. They were coming to church, but they weren't doing a good job of as a father, as a husband. And I just, something hit me that day, and I stood at the top of our stairs, and I just wept. And honestly, I felt like I have to own some of this. Like, obviously, what we're doing at our church is not working. I'm not teaching men what it looks like to be a husband and a father. And so I just stood there and I cried, and then that turned into a prayer. And so for about 6 months, I was talking to anybody who would talk to me about men's ministry. I mean, I was talking to anybody. I was just like, does anybody have anything that's working? I was praying about it. I'm online. I'm reading. I'm trying to find, and I'm just not finding anything that was working. So fast forward to October, and we're in Dallas. Some of my staff. We were in a habit. I would take my guys to Texas for this pastors conference, and I saw online this men's conference, Ignite Men's Conference, and I just pitched to my guys. I'm like, it'd be kind of crazy to do 2 in a row, but this one ends and that one starts, and there was 3 hours between the conferences. And so we bought tickets, we jumped in the truck, we drove to that conference. And Goose, we got there, we parked in the parking lot, and the guys knew I'd been looking. I said, hey, can we pray before we even walk in? We need God to show us a strategy for our men. And so we did. We prayed, we walked in, and the lobby was packed. But Men's Alliance, who I'd never heard about, had a booth off to the right side. Y'all were giving out coffee. There was a pull-up bar. Y'all were doing a pull-up challenge and giving away merch. And I looked over. The creed was up on the wall. And my first thought was like, what in the world is this? Like, what is this? I mean, this is interesting, but what is it? And I didn't even get over there because the conference was starting. And conference started, and at some point that night, you came on stage. A bunch of the Texas guys came on stage. Men's Alliance was presented, and Goose, while you were talking, the Holy Spirit just prompted my heart and said, "This is what you've been looking for." And so y'all walked off stage, and I left the conference. It kept going. I walked out, and I went and I found you in the lobby. I walked up, and I don't remember exactly what I said, but it was something like, I got to know more about this because I'm going home to start a tribe next Saturday. And I remember you saying, I don't know if we can move that fast.
That doesn't sound like me. I don't know.
You called Thor over, and you got some. And you're like,
Yeah.
get this guy started, and so literally the next Friday night, I sent 25 men in our church. I prayed and felt like the Lord gave me some guys. I sent 25 men a very cryptic text that basically said, "Hey guys, I feel like the Lord's given me a strategy to help reach our men. If you're up to the challenge, meet me at 7 a.m. in the back parking lot. Bring a Bible, bring a water bottle, come ready for a workout. I know this doesn't make sense. It'll make sense when you get there. I'll see you there." There were guys that thought I was pranking them. There were guys that thought someone had stolen my phone. Like there were guys like I was getting texts like, "Is this you? Is this for real?" And that next Saturday, we weren't official yet because we couldn't check all the boxes quite fast enough. But that next Saturday, I had 19 men that showed up. They walked up. I had the fire going. I ran it just the playbook, right? They walk up. I remember the first guy. He walks up. He goes, "Is this the homeless camp?" I mean, they didn't know what to do, right? So I pitched the vision that day, and I told them the story I just told you. And I said about looking across the sanctuary and seeing these men. I said, "Guys, we're not doing a good job. I need your help." And so we ran the play, and then I said, if you're in, just come back next week, and we're going to be here every single Saturday at 7 a.m. and start bringing. I'm not going to announce it yet. Just start bringing your friends. Just invite them. I'm not going to say anything from the pulpit for a little while. We're going to start growing organically. And then next week we had, I don't remember the number. It was more than 19 guys brought their friends, and I thought, I think we're on to something. I think this is going to work. And so we just celebrated 1 year, Duke City Alpha Tribe. And then this weekend we launched our Bravo Tribe. So we're now at two tribes. And man, Goose, it has been an absolute game changer for our church.
Wow, man. I love that story because it's so full of the Holy Spirit. Because from my perspective, we go to a lot of conferences and we set up a lot of booths and we talk to a lot of men about MA and what happened with you and your church and your state doesn't happen everywhere. That was just such an outlier, is such an outlier. It's so unique. And that's why I wanted to do this podcast, is because there's something really amazing going on in New Mexico.
Absolutely.
It is absolutely incredible. So, I remember that moment in the lobby very, very well. And, I knew right away, I was like, man, this is different. For one thing, this is a pastor, which that right there made it rare. Usually it's not the pastor coming up to our booth saying, I want to start this at my church. It's usually just a guy, and we help him start one at our tribe. But you were like, I'm a pastor, and I want to start this. And I was like, oh, man, this is incredible. And then just kind of like hearing your story about how you guys were there for a different conference.
Yeah.
And just decided to pop in walk in late at this other one. And God intersecting our paths then was so amazing. So I was looking at our website this morning right before this call with you, and I was like, man, I wonder how many tribes we've got right now in New Mexico. I don't know the exact number. It's hard. I think there's 8 or 9. Well,
as of Sunday, there's 9.
That's right. You're launching number 9.
Yeah.
So in 12 months, you've gone from 0 tribes to 9.
Yeah.
Tribes.
And number 10's been approved and is already in the works. I talked to them yesterday.
10 is in the pipeline. And so what's going on out there is just unmistakable. It's the way I've always described Men's Alliance is we built a little fire, and then God spread it. God just blew on this fire and is spreading it around the country.
Absolutely.
And I had the great opportunity to come out there to New Mexico a couple months ago. Was that May?
May, yeah.
Yeah. And so, out there in May, and like as soon as I walked into the church that Friday evening for the New Mexico Men's Conference. Instantly, it hit me that something was different here, and it took me a second to figure out what it was. But instantly, I was like, this is a totally different conference. Something is completely different here. And then I walk around the lobby, and what I noticed was there's no sponsors, there's no booths, there was nobody selling things and promoting things. It was a lot of fun and games. The whole lobby was this amazing game set up for men to play, which was totally cool. But it wasn't the vendors and the booths and the sponsors and the celebrity speakers. It was local churches all coming together, and it was all the different pastors from those churches. It was like the speakers were like pastor, and I was like, that's it. That's what's different. It had a very organic, authentic feel to it. It wasn't a commercial enterprise. It was a Holy Spirit enterprise, and that impressed me so much. It really impacted me. I came back here from that. I'm still wearing the shirt from it. Still wearing this is the New Mexico. That's how they roll in New Mexico. They made their own MA shirt, which I love. It says "Do hard things." But I came back from that, was telling our guys here, I was like, man, this was incredible. So we've decided we're going to try to put on a similar men's conference here in the Richmond, Virginia area, RVA Men's Conference, where we want to do what you did out there, and that's simply unite local churches. We're getting together pastors from all of our churches in and around the greater Richmond area. It's going to be April 17th, 18th, and have that same experience. Is what we're going for, is unite local churches, get men together, really create the Ephesians 4 kind of one body, one faith environment and atmosphere, and just sharpen men the way you did. And you're coming to speak at it.
Yes, I'm so excited.
So that's going to be, that's going to be incredible. I can't wait for you to bring some of that fire back to us, right? It's like God spread it over there, but you're bringing it back around. So that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and Goose, I know your podcast is listened to by guys that are doing all kinds of things, but there's a bunch of pastors that are part of Men's Alliance, and I'll just back up and add a little bit to what you just shared. We launched our tribe, and then I immediately called you and said, is there any way you can come for our men's conference? So we launched in October, you were coming in May, and you immediately said yes. We began making plans. And so I called two pastors. I called my brother, who pastors north of here in Farmington, and I called a friend who used to be on staff with us. He now pastors down south in Silver City. And I just said, hey, would you be an early adopter of something called Men's Alliance? Told them about it, and I said, what I think we need a couple of tribes that are up and going by the time we get to men's conference. When we get to men's conference, we're going to promote it. Goose will be there, and we're going to tell all the pastors about it. But I think if we get a few of us off the ground by then, the pump will be primed. And so both of those guys, before we even made it to men's conference, we already had Hoodoo Tribe up north and Gila Tribe down south. And then we had another tribe that was in the works that launched, I think it was the week before men's conference. So by the time we got to men's conference, we were at 4 tribes. Yeah. And we invited all the pastors while you were there, and we shared the vision with them. And then we went from 4 to 9. And I just say that because, and I know I'm a pastor, so I love any tribe that'll start anyway. It doesn't really matter to me, but there's something when a pastor catches the heart, Men's Alliance can move so much faster, right? Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like, we're the ones that we're approving that can happen, and the calendar and the budget. I mean, Goose, as soon as it started, I'm like buying tires and buying sledgehammers, and one of my staff goes, "Man, it's really nice when the pastor's behind something." There was no like budget approvals. It was just like, we are doing this.
Yeah.
What do we need to make this happen? And something happens. And so, part of my passion with joining you with Men's Alliance is I love talking to pastors that are thinking about Men's Alliance, because it's just such a game changer. And I know that if we can get a pastor on board, it just goes so much faster. And so I just wanted to add that little piece of the story. So,
well, that's been a big, I would say, catalyst in just these past few months, again, since May, is we created in Men's Alliance, what we're calling the Shepherd's Board. And that's our tribesmen who are also pastors. And, we had our first Shepherd's Board meeting a couple weeks ago. And that was so cool to see when you get everybody together on one call. It's like we've got pastors who are running tribes in, New Mexico, Virginia, but Tennessee, Pennsylvania, and a few other locations as well, where getting these pastors who can help speak into the ministry and give us some tips and some direction on, like, hey, here's how to better reach pastors. Here's how to better partner with churches. We've already implemented some of the things from that Shepherd's Board meeting, and I'm already seeing benefits and return on some of those investments that we've been making to our pastors like yourself.
Yeah, I love it. And, I'll add something. I know pastors are so busy. Doesn't matter what size your church is or anything. It's just pastors are busy. And I know when I saw Men's Alliance, I knew we were supposed to do it, but part of me was like, I don't need another thing to do,
Mm-hmm.
And so I launched the tribe as the tribe leader. Immediately recruited all of the chiefs, and immediately went to the guy that I thought was supposed to take over. And I think he took over within 6 months. I was like, hey, I'm gonna keep coming. I moved to prayer chief, and I was just like, I've got plenty on my plate. You guys can do this. And so after like that first week, I did the fire, the Devo, and the workout all the first week.
Yep.
And then I didn't lead again. I didn't lead again for like 10 months. Goose, I didn't.
Oh man,
I didn't need to. Guys were
so
stepping
good.
up.
That's perfect. That's amazing, and that's how it should be.
Absolutely. And so then we launched our Bravo tribe this Sunday. I started the fire. I led the workout. Our chief led the Devo, and I don't expect to lead again for a long time. But I told both tribes there will not be a bigger cheerleader at Harvest than me. Like, I'm going to tell every guy they need to be there. I preach about it. I talk about it in my sermons. I'm always like checking on guys, like, well, hey, where are you? I thought you told me you were coming. Why haven't you come yet? And so that's kind of, at least here, our church, that's become my role. Is I'm the promoter, and I'm there. If I'm in town, I'm at Tribe. Because I love it, but I get to come and I just get to be. I'm not Pastor Jason. I'm just Jason. I'm working out right next to him. I'm sitting around the fire. I'm taking notes during the Devos. I love it. So,
I think this speaks to a very important topic that I've been passionate about. It's been near and dear to my heart for a long time. Is giving pastors a place where they can just go be a dude, mm-hmm. right? Because, man, there is so much pressure on pastors. I'm a pastor's kid, grew up, seeing my dad, preparing sermons every Sunday. And it's very easy for a pastor to get himself isolated. It can be very lonely mm-hmm. at the top, right? For the shepherd leading his flock. And, I think that's why, pastors are, prey for the enemy to go after, because they're alone. And we all know that, lions go after the prey that is isolated, and
Yeah.
so we don't want our pastors to get isolated. And so I've always tried to crack the code on how do you get pastors to come to Men's Alliance and take off their pastor hat for 1 hour a week and just be a tribesman, just be eagle, right?
Yeah.
Instead of Pastor Jason, just be eagle and just get out there with some fellow dudes and flip some tires and do some
Yeah.
burpees and be real around a fire. I don't know how to crack that, but it's happening in a few places.
It is. It is. You know, with us, and this is part of our culture already, is we value authenticity. My wife and I both grew up as pastors' kids, and when God called us to Albuquerque 12 years ago, we just made a commitment to each other. We said we're going to lead with authenticity. We're gonna let people see behind the curtain. They're gonna see the good, the bad, and the ugly, and so we've led that way for a long time. And so to move from the pulpit to the fire, for me, just it wasn't that hard. And I remember talking to our chiefs early on, and I said, guys, we have to model the authenticity that we want to see around the fire. And so we did. I mean, our chiefs led the way, me included. I mean, we dove in with authenticity. We showed our flaws. We talked about our weaknesses. We asked for help. I mean, we just led that way. And so that culture, it was already there, but the fire the conversations of the fire fast forwarded it. I mean, it was accelerated big time. And I think it's super important what you're saying. I mean, I feel like I have two layers of friendships. I think as a pastor, I think it's good to have other pastors that are friends that know your world, know your walk. That only works if you're willing to be authentic with them. But I didn't want to only have friends outside of the church because I'm here every day. I'm at the church every day. I need friends in the church. I need friends that are really, really close in proximity. And Men's Alliance has been a big part of that. It's been fun. And something happens too, Goose. You know this. You've done it longer than me. Something happens when you're suffering together, right? I mean, there's
magic.
There's a bond. I mean, when you're doing burpees and you're sweating and you're flipping tires, and there's something that happens that bonds you in a very different way. And I love it, man.
That is absolutely the secret sauce to Men's Alliance. Is that's how men bond. Men bond over a shared physical struggle.
Yes.
And I can be in a indoor coffee cake small group with a guy for like 2 years and not be as bonded together with him as I am with a guy that I go to one Men's Alliance with, because you run around with a guy bear crawling together, dragging a sandbag, and you just I mean I can't explain it. It's just magic, but that's how we bond, and we're buddies after we do that.
Like part of pastoring is counseling people, talking through things with them, and I try hard. I'm not a great counselor. I try to just be a pastor, be a friend. But for a long time, I've used this trick because men don't open their hearts by sitting across the table from each other or sitting in a chair. It's very hard for men to open their hearts. And so for a long time, Deuce, if I'm talking to a guy, about something serious, we'll go for a walk. We'll do something. We'll do something with our hands. There was a guy a long time ago. I just took him out in the woods and we cut firewood, and he just started pouring his heart out while we're just chopping wood. And I think that's what I see in Men's Alliance is men open their hearts when they're doing something with their hands. When there's some action there, and it works. I think there's a few secret sauces. I think the workout is a part of that. I think being outside is a part of it.
Absolutely.
I don't think men in our culture today get outside nearly enough.
You cannot take MA indoors. It won't work.
No,
it won't work.
No, you got to be outside. I think the fire is a part of it. I mean, there's a bunch of little pieces that, and I have to tell you this. When I heard the model at Ignite, I didn't think it would work. I mean, I literally was like, I don't know. Like, I know the guys at our church. I know, like, they're not professional worker outers. They're
right.
They're gonna laugh at me. They're not. I just didn't think it would work. The
Yeah.
guy that leads our tribe now, I called him, and he didn't say it then, but he came back later. He goes, Pastor, I just got to tell you, when you told me, I thought this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. There's no
Yeah.
way this is going to work. But we tried it. We again, I felt like the Holy Spirit was like, this is what you're supposed to do. So we just did it out of just
Yeah.
pure obedience. And now looking back, I'm like, all these little things are just there. They really all connect and they work. I'd love to. We could talk now or later, but I love call signs. Oh my goodness! And I thought I would
Yeah.
hate that part, but
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, all these parts, they all have a part to play in why Men's Alliance works.
You know, I got to speak to that because this might be like the one thing that I would say to pastors, like most important that are considering Men's Alliance or thinking about it. I would say this: the guys who are gonna love Men's Alliance at your church, you would never guess. They're not the ones you're thinking of. And
Absolutely.
I have seen this countless times over the years. A pastor, and I was doing this at the beginning myself, a pastor looks across his congregation and he looks for the 20-somethings that are doing CrossFit. And he thinks those are going to be his Men's Alliance guys. They're never going to be the Men's Alliance guys. The Men's Alliance guys are late 40s, early 50s, carrying around a few extra pounds. Those are the Men's Alliance guys. And because we're not a workout group, right? Mm-hmm. That's not the 20-year-old CrossFit guy. He's already working out 100 hours a week, and he thinks that this is a subpar workout group. But what we actually are is we're just a band of brothers that uses a workout as our icebreaker.
Yes.
And so we're for the guy who's looking not for a fitness group, but he's looking for a band of brothers. He's looking for a tribe.
So good.
And then I want to go back to this one thing you said, because you talked about you led the workout, the devotion, and built the fire, but then you didn't do it again for 10 months. I was not nearly that smart when I started Men's Alliance. I led the workout, the devotion, and the fire for way too long before it dawned on me that's not going to be the model for this group. You're going to burn out. You need to get other guys to lead. And then I started saying, hey, I need somebody to volunteer. And then it became so obvious. You were like, but I had that small group mentality still in my mind at the beginning, where it was like, you're the small group leader and you have everybody over to your house every week and you're running it. And I kind of had that in my mind, like this was my group I started and I'm running it. Which looking back on it, you're like, that's so crazy. How are you so far off? But then, so I would say this, I know pastors are thinking, I don't need another thing on my plate.
Right.
I don't need another thing. I am so busy. I've got so much on my plate already. I have no bandwidth left. Don't give me another thing. I totally get it. But here's the thing. One of the most important leadership skills is delegation. Yeah. And like you did, you got it started and then you handed it off. That's the model for successful tribes and successful leadership, is giving other men leadership opportunities.
Yes.
And you realize then, like when you hand something off, when you delegate something, sometimes you'll delegate it to a guy who takes it way beyond and better than what you would have done because you have limited bandwidth. Yeah. So when we delegate things, we see the job actually blossoms, right? Yeah. And so I think what you did was brilliant by getting it handed off early. And I would say to pastors everywhere, like, this is not going to be like another thing on your plate that takes up your bandwidth. This is going to actually be something that you can start at your church, but then delegate off. And then it'll be something that fuels you. It'll be something that fills you every week and recharges you. And it doesn't take away from you. It adds to you. That's the goal. Hey, men, is your money reflecting how God wants to use you? Do you have a plan for your money? Are you optimizing your situation on taxes and investments? I want to tell you guys about Tom Doc Love. He's over at the Main Street Group, and he will help sharpen you around money. Now, I personally use Doc and the Main Street Group for my investments. He handles mine. I can tell you from experience, he is phenomenal. I highly recommend him. His retirement investments since July 2023 are up 64% as of today, September 2025, and that includes fees and costs. And the S&P 500 is up only 48% during that same period. So he is got a phenomenal track record at the Main Street Group. The average client pays less than 1% per year, which also includes tax and financial planning fees. By the way, past performance does not guarantee future results. Make sure you mention Men's Alliance when you reach out, and they will invest the first year of fees into Men's Alliance 501c3 nonprofit. That's right. Part of their mission to invest in bringing men closer to Christ, with over 200,000 raised for Men's Alliance so far. So Doc, Nuke, Sherpa, and Rev all are tribesmen at the Main Street Group. They are fee-only fiduciaries, and Tom Doc is the owner. He's a certified financial planner, a Dave Ramsey Smart Vestor Pro. They use Charles Schwab to manage their client assets, and their office is in Innsbruck, Virginia, but they can serve clients throughout the world. With Tom, you get a guy who has been recognized as the #2 financial advisor by the Richmond Times-Dispatch, #1 in Style Weekly, and a top 40 under 40 advisor in the country in 2019. He's also been recognized by the Wall Street Journal, Fortune, and Forbes magazine. Dave Ramsey and Charles Schwab are separate entities, of course, from the Main Street Group. So check them out if you're looking for any sort of financial advice, planning, investments. You can't beat the Main Street Group. Call Doc and tell him you're with Men's Alliance.
Well, and you're developing leaders. I mean, every week, if you're doing it right, you got a different guy doing the fire, different guy doing the Devo, different guy doing the workout. It's you're developing leaders. And when we started Goose, I don't think I saw really how important that was to developing leaders, not just for Men's Alliance, but at the church. I mean, all of a sudden, like, our guys were, I mean, they started learning, that they could step up and they could lead. And I remember, early on, just the easiest one to ask for, I thought, for most people was like, hey, why don't you sign up to start the fire? Because guys would look at me and say, Pastor, I've never started a fire in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Okay, well, good news. We've got this big torch that we use, and we've stocked firewood, and we've got a fire chief that's going to help you, And I thought that would be the easy one. So it's interesting. Some guys, they're leery of the fire. Yeah. Others are leery of the workout because they're like, I've never led a workout. I barely work out. I don't know what to do. And then other guys, it's the Devo that scares them. Mm-hmm. One of the three is going to scare every single person
That's right.
that comes. So I tell them, I say, start with the easy, move to the next one, and then embrace the hardest one. And we're going to help you every step of the way. And like now, I mean, these guys, and some of them were already in these leader roles, but they're leading in our youth group, they're leading in our kids ministry, they're leading in our security team, they're leading in our media team. Like they've learned that they can be, if you can be a leader in a small group, a band of brothers, you can be a leader in your home, you can be a leader at your church, you can be a leader at your job. I've just watched the leadership table rise so much this year, and it all traces back to these really simple things of just, I signed up to start the fire, and I'm going to be there. I'm going to get there early. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to sign up to do the Devo. I'm going to, and they're showing up. They're prepared. They're ready. They've thought about it. It's such an incredible leadership development tool. that is just, and I'm so thankful for it. So
It
thankful.
really is. We offer, what we've got in Men's Alliance is we've got a lot of micro leadership opportunities.
Yes.
Whereas typically at a church, the leadership roles that are available to men are it's either nothing or it's a big one, right?
Yeah.
It's either 0 or it's 60. You're either not leading, or you're leading a whole team, or you're leading a whole class, or you're leading a whole small group. And a lot of guys don't want to bite off that entire thing, especially if they're not, if they have self-doubt in their own leadership abilities. But like you said, when you get a guy, just this small opportunity, just lead one 30-minute devotion. And you don't even have to talk for 30 minutes. You ask a couple big questions that get a conversation going, and guys realize, oh, I can do this. I can prepare for this. And then you get the guy leading the workout. This is so funny, right? Because we see this all the time. Like you mentioned, a guy's like, I'm not qualified to lead the workout, right? Like, I'm not in shape, and there's guys there that are more fit than me. How am I qualified to lead the workout? One of the things that I've started saying to guys in that situation is, do you think you're qualified to lead the devotion? It's like, I don't know why we think we're qualified to lead the Devo, but not the workout.
Right.
And the point of that is none of us are qualified to lead any of it. Mm-hmm. That's okay. Lead anyway. We all fall short. I fall short spiritually. I fall short of leading the devotion to the standard that I know it should be at, and I fall short of leading the workout to the standard that I know it should be at. So one of the things we say all the time in Men's Alliance is, prepare a workout harder than you can even do, and that way you're setting the bar extremely high. But then give yourself and everyone else grace to fall short of it. And in this model, that's exactly the way we do the devotion as well, right? Mm-hmm. We set the bar high. The bar is Jesus, and we give ourselves and everyone else grace to fall short of it, because we're gonna. But the thing we never do in the workout or the devotion is we don't lower the bar. We set the bar high. We give it our best, and we give ourselves grace to fall short. And so I think when we say that to guys, I want guys to realize, yeah, you're right. I can lead it. I'm not qualified, but that's okay. I'm going to just step up and lead. And whether it's the workout or the Devo, like one of them, like you said, scares guys. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of always funny to see like which one. I'll ask guys, hey, which one are you more comfortable leading? And, you never know what they're going to say, because it's 50-50. But you're like, okay, lead that one first, right? And then we'll work on the other one in a couple of weeks or so.
Yeah.
And, we've got tribes. It's so funny that you mentioned your fire starting. We have some tribes that, like, rub two sticks together to start their fire. And then we've got tribes with flamethrowers. Literally, we have tribes with flamethrowers, and we've got tribes, rubbing sticks together. And we don't tell you how you have to start your fire. And so I love just seeing what guys come up with. I think it was our tribe in Indiana, Hoosier tribe, sent me a video like right when they launched with a no kidding flamethrower, and I'm like, okay, well there you go.
No, thanks, man. Now my guys are going to be asking for a flamethrower. So.
Well, we don't have anything that epic at Alpha Tribe. We're just, we're somewhere in the middle. We're not rubbing sticks, but we don't have a flamethrower yet either.
We're the same. We're the same.
So, what do you think is going on different or unique or special? What's going on in New Mexico?
Yeah. So what you came to in May was our statewide men's conference. One of the things I love about Men's Alliance is it's cross-denomination. I'm a part of the Assemblies of God, and our men's conference, it's for our Assemblies of God churches. But a couple of years ago, we began, really actively opening it up to other churches, other denominations. And it's still primarily Assemblies of God churches that come, but there's some others that are coming, And so we do that once a year, and churches from literally all over the state drive in and spend a weekend together. And there's just something amazing when guys come together like that. I'm excited for what's going to happen in Richmond in April. You're gonna see something happens, every week at the fire or at the churches that those fires represent. But when those all come together, there's an explosiveness. There's something that happens, and for us, I think it's even deeper than that. Like, every tribe that started so far in New Mexico, they're all being led by pastors, and we're all friends. And so we are already like, for me to call and say, "Hey, I found something called Men's Alliance. Would you check it out?" was not abnormal. Like, we're already sharing, resources and ideas and relationships and, praying for each other and talking things through. And so to add Men's Alliance to that, it fast tracked it, because we already had that going. So I think what you saw was, it's been years in the making, right? It wasn't a flash in the pan. It's been years in the making. Of us working together and supporting one another, and so, but there are these moments where Men's Alliance was just gas to the fire. I mean, it took off fast. It really did.
Yeah.
So,
man, that's cool, and that's good to hear too. As we begin the first year endeavor to put the first one together, we'll keep our expectations low. We're not going to reach New Mexico status in our first conference, and that'll be okay. We'll strive to get there eventually. Let's talk for a second about what's going on in the larger culture of men in America. What do you think we need to be doing better, just as churches in a whole, as Christians, bigger and beyond just Men's Alliance? What do we need to be doing to better reach and disciple Christian men in America?
Yeah. I think two things come to my mind immediately. So one of the first things that happened for me as we started with Men's Alliance is, I realized, if I go all the way back, you remember I'm standing at the top of the stairs just crying over my church and my city, and just trying to own, like, what part do I have to play? I mean, I know every man has to make their own decision, but you've called me to be the leader of these men. Like, what am I doing that's not working? And in that, what I found is, quite frankly, Goose, I was being way too easy on men. I was pastoring men the same way I would pastor the women and the kids. I was just kind of pastoring them all the same. And it's like parenting. You don't parent all your kids the same. They need different things, and men need something different. And, like, I think the word I would use is, like, the vast majority of the time, men don't need coddling, right? And so, like, my wife makes fun of me. Like, this year, she's like, on Mother's Day, you're just like, "Oh, we love all the moms." And then Father's Day, you're like, "Grow up and be a man. What is wrong with you?" So there's this idea, though, that I just learned. I'm like, you know what? I was being too hard on men. I mean, not hard enough on men. I was being too easy on them. I like the idea. I was thinking about this morning. Like, I could be driving down the highway, and I pull up next to a man on the highway, and he thinks I want to race him, right? Like, there's this, there's like natural, like men rise to the challenge. And so what I realized as a pastor, I wasn't challenging our men nearly enough. I was being way too easy on them. You don't have to be mean. You don't have to be harsh to challenge, And so, like, it's changed. Now a man comes and they're like, "Hey, I'm having marital problems," and old Jason was way too high on, like, the empathy and, like, "Oh, come, let me give you a hug, and let's talk about this." And now it's like there's a little bit of empathy, but I'm going, so what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? How are you going to own this? You got to go home and be the man. Like, can I hold you accountable to this? I'm going to hold you accountable. Things like that. It's these, for me, it was these subtle shifts. And then the second thing, so it's changing my language. It's changed how how I pastor men specifically. But then it's also changed the filter. So I filter now everything we do as a church through the filter of a man. So like I'm writing sermons and I'm thinking, how does this sound to the men that are sitting there? Right?
Wow.
Like what is a man, how is he going to hear this? Right? And there's actually been times this year where I'll be in the middle of a message and I'll go, hey men, listen for a minute. Ladies, you can listen in too, but men, this is for you. And I'll take 60 seconds, to talk about, to challenge the men, right? We have we do a big trunk or treat Halloween event. We've done it for years. It's coming up, in a couple weeks. And we were planning this year, and I thought, what do I normally see at trunk or treat? And here's what I see. Kids come, they're excited, they're dressed up, they're running around. Moms are behind them, they're excited, they're taking pictures, they're proud of their kids. Dad's in the back of the line, and he's on his phone. He's just kind of following his family around. He's not engaged. I mean, he's just kind of there, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what? What do we do as a church to engage the hearts of men, even at something it is designed for kids and families, but like there would be 1,500 people in our parking lot, 500 men. Like, what do we do? How do we engage their hearts? So we're going to try something this year. We're creating a men's alliance area in our parking lot. We're going to do kind of like we did at men's conference. We're going to do a mini ultimate man competition.
Nice.
And so as families are coming by, we're going to be like, Dad, come here. We have six things for you to try. We have a prize at the end of the night. It'll be ran all by Men's Alliance guys. So while they're, I think they're going to do like an axe throw and a putt and a pull up and whatever. They're doing all these contests. But what I want them to know is I want them to know, look, you can come to, as a man, you can come to Harvest. Like this is a good place for you. Like this is a place full of men that love Jesus. We're doing it together. You can be a man at Harvest. Like you don't have to. We're not going to water things down. We're not going to there's a place for you here. And so it's just changed the filter. I try really hard now to think about every event we do, everything we do. Like, what does this look like, feel like, sound like to a man, right? And I think that filter has really, really helped me.
I just love hearing that. I want every church in America to make that shift as well. When churches really cater their message around and focus on and target women and children, there's this unintended consequence that occurs. A man will subconsciously think, oh, the church is ministering to my wife and kids. So it kind of circumvents him and goes directly to his constituents, if you will, right? If the church goes around the man and focuses on the women and children, that tells the man, it's okay, sit on the sideline, we've got this. And that's exactly what you don't want to happen. But when the church, like you're saying, focuses the message on the men and is there to equip, encourage, admonish, train the men, that sends the signal, hey, men, get in the game.
Yeah.
We're going to pour into you. You turn around and pour in to your wife and kids.
Yeah.
And I think that is where we flip the script and get the model right as a church in this country.
Yeah. And I think too in church, I think if we looked all over the country, we would find this to be true that most of the people volunteering in our churches are women.
Yeah.
There's a higher percentage of women serving than men. And so I think the other thing that's gotta change. That's absolutely gotta change. And so like we call our volunteers Dream Team, and we'll be announcing something for Dream Team. And I'll say, hey, this is not just for the ladies. Men, I need you to sign up to do this. And like specifically with like kids and youth ministry, I don't know why. My whole life, I grew up in church. I'm third generation pastor. My whole life, those roles are filled by amazing, godly women. Like, I'm not putting them down when I say that,
Right,
but we
right.
started to ask, where are the men? Like
Yeah,
in our kids' church, we need men that are discipling the boys. I mean, the truth is this conversation goes back way further than just the men. Like, if we'll start now and we'll raise, boys in the right way, we won't have these problems, a decade from now, because these guys will
yeah,
grow up because they'll have role models, right? And so we've seen a shift here where we're seeing men serving in kids ministry, serving in youth ministry, and it's amazing. And I mean, you know how, I mean, part of it's there's a fatherlessness issue in our
yeah,
world today. So we have a bunch of kids whose dads don't come to church, or maybe the dad's not even in the picture. So the part of the church's role is to be the father to the fatherless. And now, I mean, we've got men who are stepping up and doing that. And I mean, frankly, a man can fill a role in a kid's life that a woman can't, and
for
vice
sure,
versa.
for
The
sure.
ladies have known that for a long time, and they've been doing a pretty dang good job of it.
Yeah,
The guys, I think that we're awakening to this. Not just here, but I think a bunch of us that are doing stuff with men, we're seeing like there's an awakening. Like, I
yeah,
have a role to play in the church, and
yeah.
it's not just attending. Like, attending is step one, but like I have a role to play that my wife cannot play. Right? We're going to
Oh,
play
for sure.
We're going to play different roles.
For sure. I love what you said about you recognized that you had been too easy on men and now you're challenging men more. And I think that is really hitting the nail on the head. I think that's why for a few decades, we saw a decline in men attending church was because it is counterintuitive, right? But the easier you make things, the softer you make things, the more comfortable you make things, the less they become attractive to men. And
Yeah.
and men actually want the challenge. And that
Yeah.
goes for spiritually and physically. We want to be challenged, like you said, when you pull up beside of a guy at a stoplight or on the highway. It's like game on. We're racing, and that speaks to iron sharpening iron, right?
Yes.
Like if I'm working out beside of another guy, I push myself harder, even if he doesn't say a single word. He doesn't have to say anything.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to try to egg me on. Just his presence there makes me go for one more rep, makes
Yeah.
me go a little bit faster. So we love challenges. We rise to challenges. And when the church challenges us, we like that. We want more of that. We step up our game accordingly. So, that's a big part of it is pastors challenge your men. And
Yeah.
Jason, this goes back to the call sign thing that you mentioned. So the reason why we do call signs in Men's Alliance is because I came out of Air Force flying squadrons. I did my career in Air Force flying squadrons, and they know how to reach men. The military knows how to reach men.
Yes.
And it has to do with those little things like creating a shared identity, creating a band of brothers and a common culture through things like call signs, earning a challenge coin, earning a patch. And these are things that the military has been doing forever. And so have motorcycle clubs. They've been doing forever. And it's like, these are groups that know how to reach men. They understand men. They know how to reach them. They know how to recruit them and retain them. And for so long, those organizations, the military and motorcycle clubs, have been crushing it. Meanwhile, churches are saying, men are just so hard to reach. We don't know how to reach the men. And so that was part of the creation of Men's Alliances. No, men are not hard to reach, and there's organizations that know how to do it. We just need to borrow a page or two from that playbook and bring those to a men's ministry. And when you do, it looks weird from the outside to a lot of people. They're like, that men's group's out there flipping tires, giving each other call signs, doing war cries and challenging coins, and I don't know what they're doing. But it's like, man, when you get into it, you realize like this is where it's at. This is what I want to do.
Let me talk about call signs for a second,
Do
because
it.
it's become one of my favorite things that we do. I didn't think I was gonna like this, Goose. I'm just telling you, I'm not military background. So I saw it, and I'm like, I know why it's there, but I
Yeah.
don't think I'm gonna like this. So, quite frankly, my guys are gonna hear this, but here we go. The first call sign, I was the first one. Leaders always go first, and so I was
That's
the
right.
first one. We didn't know what we were doing. It was terrible. Okay, it was terrible. Like, I got up on the tire, I did my thing, and then none of us knew what to do. So they're like, "All right, what do we want to call Pastor Jason?" And someone's like, "He really likes fly fishing. Let's call him Trout." And then someone
Yeah.
else, when I was like, "What about this?" And they're just naming a bunch of animals, honestly. And I'm like, "Oh, this is like a zoo, man." And finally,
Well, to be fair, your entire office is full of animals.
it is. No. I mean, look, I got some behind me right now. But it was like it was missing something. Okay, it was missing something. So I step off the tire, and our tribe leader, his name's Nick. He was the next one. We did two the very first time, and so I led. So he led mine, and then I led his. And I realized while I'm on the tire, I'm like, we're missing something here. And so we did the second one different. And I remember saying to the guys, "Hey, we're gonna give Nick a call sign, and here's what we're gonna do: is we're gonna prophesy over his life. The Lord is gonna give us, if you'll open your heart to this right now, He's gonna give you words to say about Nick, over Nick. You're gonna call things out of Nick, like we're not just naming him, guys. Like, we're talking about his purpose. We're talking about his identity. I mean, the Bible would call it prophecy. Like, we're gonna prophesy to him, right?" And I'm telling you, after that, the call sign thing is so different now. I mean, because now it takes us a long time, because we all circle up, and one after another, guys are like, the first time I met you, I saw this, or I watch you as a dad, and I see this in you. I watch you in this part of your life, and we're just like, it's not just encouraging. I mean, it is encouraging, but there's a spiritual element that we've got to get better. Now I'm kind of combining back to what we just talked about. We've got to get better as men to look another man in the eye and call out what we see in them through God's eyes.
Yeah.
So early
Man.
on, like, I would go to a man, I'd say, hey, good job starting the fire today. You are an incredible leader. I can't even. I love watching you. You're so amazing. You're a great dad. You're an amazing husband. Like, you are a leader. And 2 or 3 times this happened early on. We're in the parking lot, and they just start bawling, crying as I say it. I'm talking a man crying. And they go, and they wipe their tears, and they go, "I've never had another man look me in the eye and tell me I was a great leader." And I said, that's got to change.
Yeah.
Because that's true. Number one, it's true. But number two, like, that's how we're going to do it here, is we're not going to be afraid to look a man in the eye and tell him what God thinks about him, to tell him what we see in them, to call out the spiritual attributes that we see in them. And so I have just come to love the call sign. Like, it's one of, I love it. I hate if I have to miss a call sign, I hate it so much. And so early on, I just started doing this. The next guy that got his call sign, I got online, and I started ordering our guys hats that have their call sign on them. And honestly, it's kind of gotten out of control. I can't buy enough hats now, but I bought, I don't know.
That was one of the things I noticed when I walked into the conferences. The 2 guys that were greeting at the door, I looked at their hats and I was like,
That's got to be a call sign.
Those are awesome.
Yes. Now,
Well,
I do have to tell you, the guys make fun of me because I ordered them off an Etsy shop. All right, and they're like, they want to give me a new call sign. They want to change mine from Eagle to Etsy.
Hey, there's no shame in that. Wherever they make a good hat is where we're going to buy it.
I agree, man. I totally agree. So
yeah, what you said is absolutely spot on. A call sign should call a man to greatness, right? A call sign should not hold a man back or tether him to his past. And this is in our leadership guide on how to run a call sign ceremony.
Yeah.
Great call signs call a man to greatness. They don't hold him back. So that's an important thing for guys to remember. And then, also there's something very powerful in a name change, in receiving a new name is not a small thing. And when you look in the Bible, God changes a lot of people's names,
Yeah.
right? When there's like a line of demarcation in their life where it's like, that was the old you, now there's a new you. And from now on, you're going to be called,
Yeah.
whatever, Abraham
Yeah.
or Peter. And and so I've heard a lot of guys say, man, when I got my Men's Alliance call sign, I felt like that was the start of a new me.
Yeah.
And so I do think we've got that powerful aspect going there as well.
Yeah. My guys know this story. I talk about it all the time, but my wife and I went through a very challenging time years ago. And when we came out on the other side, I don't even know why I started doing this, except that I knew this principle that you're talking about from the Bible about like the name change. And so after that, I started signing her. I would give her, like a birthday card or an anniversary card, and I on the new card, like I changed my name to Juan. I would sign the card as Juan instead of Jason. And it was like this thing between us where it was this little reminder, like, look what God has done. I'm so thankful for the grace of God. He saved our marriage. He saved us, right? And I'll tell it now from the pulpit. And now my girls are now old enough. But I for a long time, I was worried that if I died, my kids were going to be going through stuff, and they're going to be like, did mom have another boyfriend? Like, all of a sudden, we're finding all these cards signed by, who's Juan,
Who is this Juan guy in our life?
So
oh, my
now
gosh.
they know. Now the church knows. But I love that. I celebrate that what God has done, and I recognize it in my own life with kind of this name change, and that call sign that's a huge part of it. Call signs are fun, man. It's fun to call greatness out of another man. We don't do it enough. We don't do it enough. And it shouldn't only happen at call signs at that ceremony. Like we should be able to walk up to a man on a Sunday morning or a whatever day, whatever time, and just, hey, I was watching you over there with your kids and I saw this, or I saw you during worship, or what. Like we got to get better at that. Like I think that's something that needs to change in the church.
Yeah, I think encouragement is something that a lot of men don't know how to do well, and it feels awkward to them, and therefore they don't do it. And men don't get a lot of encouragement, and that's why that's one of our core values in Men's Alliance is we want to be an organization that encourages, not one that tears men down. It's easy for a guy to say stuff to another guy like, man, you call that a push-up, stuff like that that's cutting, and it's discouraging. But when we do the harder thing, which is tell the guy, hey, man, great job. I saw you really pushing it out there tonight. Way to show up. Man, that changes everything. That changes not only the culture of the group, but it changes that man, and it changes his mindset. So that kind of encouragement of like looking and seeing where your brothers in Christ are giving, and they're doing their best, and recognizing that out loud to them. Hey, man, great job. I saw that post on social media, where you were doing this thing, or you were serving in this place. Way to go. Man, that's something we don't get a lot of in our culture. So, it's like we're thirsty for encouragement. And if we
this, most of our guys, I mean, not most, a lot of our guys, they weren't set that example, right, by their father.
Yeah.
And so we're teaching men how to be encouraged and how to be an encourager, right? We're literally having to teach them that. And it's just, it's funny because it's not really that hard, but men don't know how to do it. And it feels uncomfortable because men don't, they don't like being in touch with their feelings. They don't like, it feels too sappy or whatever, but like you can be an encourager in a manly way. And I think we're figuring that out. And there's something powerful about it. It's powerful, man.
When I was out there and we were talking in person, you were telling me about, challenging men and expecting more from them and pushing them a little bit. and you were telling me about a guy who was having some sort of a marriage problem, and he was saying, but it's so hard. He was like, marriage is hard, right, or something like that. And you said to him, but you do hard things. You just got done. You just got done doing burpees in the rain.
Yeah, that's where that shirt came from that you're wearing.
Yeah,
right.
I love that story. Hey, but you do hard things. You just got done doing hard things. So yeah, marriage is hard, but go do it because you can.
Yeah,
And
I'm not the only one saying it now. We all say it to each other, right? Like when another guy faces something, the other guys will say to him, "It's a good thing you're designed to do hard things."
That's it.
And it's just because that's why we put it on the shirt. And I one of the things I'm so excited about, Goose, is that through this last year, I'll say it this way: there are things that happen at the fire that they could happen at the altar on a Sunday morning, right? But for whatever reason, I mean, I'm talking about guys who've been coming, right? They've been coming to church, and all of a sudden the fire gives them the opportunity for something that didn't happen, at the altar on a Sunday, right?
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things is we are seeing men finally find freedom from life-controlling addictions, right?
Yeah.
We're seeing men getting free from alcohol, from pornography, I had a guy just this week. He said, "I'm not ready to tell the whole tribe, but Pastor, I just quit marijuana. I just want to say it out loud." And another guy comes to me. He's like, "Pastor, I've been having a secret relationship, and I gotta end that, and I gotta fix things with my wife." And I mean, stuff that could have happened on a Sunday. I mean, there's room for it, but it's happening at the fire. And again, I think it taps into something different in men than some of the other things that we do. And I'm excited because our men are finding freedom, and man, that's what we're after. So
praise God. That's incredible to hear. I absolutely love that. And this shirt, this Do Hard Things shirt that you gave me out there in New Mexico, I'm thinking we need to try to get this on our website for all tribesmen to be able to buy, and we need to call it the New Mexico shirt.
Come on, man, that'd be awesome.
We need to see if we can make that happen because it's too good of a theme to just keep in one state. We got to get this out there.
I love
That's
it.
right.
Hey,
we were designed to do hard things, and we do hard things in the workout. So go do hard things at home.
Yeah, I do have to say, this is the problem with preaching. Okay, is that when you preach, people use it against you sometimes. And so,
I know what you mean.
I started, using this language, do hard stuff, right? And the first time a guy used it back at me, I was like, "Boy, you can't do that. This is for me to tell you." But in all reality, again, I'm thankful because I need that message as much as anybody.
For sure, yeah.
We have raised the bar for what it looks like to be a man at Harvest Church in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and our men are stepping up. I mean, they're stepping up in big ways. And I love this idea that men can do hard things. Like, why in the world would we shy away from it? Like, we were designed for this. Like, we have resilience built into our DNA. Like, we're made for this. We can do it. In fact, we can do more than most of us think we're capable of doing. And so we
that's
do
right,
hard stuff.
Man. From the pulpit to the fire, Jason Eagle Dickinson, thanks for being here, brother. This was a phenomenal conversation. I feel like going and starting a fire right now and just flipping some tires, man. You got me fired up, brother.
Awesome. Thank you, man. I can't wait to be with you in Richmond in April. We're gonna have a blast, man.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it. To find out more about what we are doing in Men's Alliance, go to men'salliancetribe.com. This will help you find a tribe near you. We have grown so much over the past few years. There are thousands of tribesmen all over the country in hundreds of tribes. We're growing every single week. Go to men'salliancetribe.com, find a tribe near you, or maybe you're the man to start one in your area.